We now have a list item component that will be responsible for showing a single library. Now the library that this row will represent is available to us as this.props.library, right? Because we passed in the prop called library. So inside of this component, list item right here, we can just reference this.props.library and boom, we're good to go. Okay, so keep in mind that that library object that we passed in here has both a title and a description. So if I pull open my library list JSON file, this is where we defined each of the libraries. It has a title, a description, and of course it has the ID of well as well. So we need to basically add some JSX into our render method that shows the title and the description, because that's what we really want to show to the user. That's what we want to communicate. Okay, so inside the list item, I'm thinking that we should probably make reuse of some of the components that we've already created, right? Because we've got all these great looking components already made. So I want to reuse something out of there. I'm going to suggest that we show a card section component and put the name of the library inside of it. Then whenever a user taps that card, we'll expand with a second card section with the library's description. Okay, so whenever a user taps on this thing, that's when we want to expand it and show the library's description. Now note that I said that we only want to use the card section component here instead of the card as well. And you'll see exactly why that is when we check this out inside the simulator. Okay. So first we will import the card section at the top. So I will import card section from the common folder. Then I will place it inside the render method. So I will return a card section like so. Next, we do need to place the name of the library inside of the card section. So we'll need a text tag to be able to show some text inside of here. We don't have the text tag imported just yet, so we'll import that from the React Native library. So at the top, import text from React Native. Now inside the text section, we can place our text tag. And inside the text tag, I will reference this.props.library.title. Remember, the library is passed in as a prop called title, and the library, has a prop called library, and the library itself has a property called title. So that's why we have this.props.library.title right here. Okay, probably a good time to check this out in the simulator. Let's see how we're doing, make sure everything works. So I'm going to flip back over to the simulator. Let's refresh. And all right, hot dog, that does not look half bad. Definitely does not look half bad. You'll notice that because we are using the list view component, by default we get some nice scrolling behavior. Of course, it looks like when I scroll down, the width of the list stops right here, which is maybe not intended. You see how it's kind of cut off right there? So maybe we'll need to do a little bit of work on that front. As a side note, this is why I wanted to use the card section without the card. With just the card section, we get some really nice looking segmented rows like this right here, right? Like each one of these is its own distinct row. Now the title of each library, like Babel, Axios, ESLint, all these things, they could probably stand to be a little bit larger in text. So I think maybe we should add some styling to the text tag to accommodate for that. So at the bottom of our file here, let's add in a styles object, which will have a title style property. And inside of here, let's give it a font size of 18. And then you'll also notice that it kind of butts up to the left-hand side of the screen. That doesn't look too nice. So let's also give it a padding left of 15 as well, just to get it to stand off from the left-hand side of the screen a little bit. So we will then apply this style to our text tag. I think that we might have some other styling in here to take care of. So rather than applying it directly to the text tag, I'm going to first destructure the text style or the title style off the styles object. So we'll say const title style equals styles, and then we will apply a style of title style. All right, so let's check out the simulator again. I will refresh. All right, now this is starting to look pretty good. It's starting to really look like a list of items. So just still have that one last issue though. When I start to scroll down, the list of items gets cut off arbitrarily right here, which is probably not what I want at all. So again, we ran into this in the past. If I flip back to my app component and I find my top level view tag, I need to tell my top level view tag to fill up as much space as possible. Right now, it's that view tag that is actually kind of cutting off our list here. So I'm going to add the property or the style of flex1 to my view tag, and that is going to tell the view tag, hey, please fill up as much space as possible because we've got like a lot of content that we want to show on the screen. Do note that I passed the style prop here 2 sets of curly braces. One is for JSX and the inner one is for to designate a JavaScript object. So let's refresh in the simulator now. And when I scroll down, fantastic. The view tag is definitely taking up the full height of the screen and my content is no longer getting cut off. Okay, this looks pretty darn good. So this really brings phase 1 of our application to a close. We are able to render a list of items in the screen using a highly performant component, the list view. So we're now going to move on to our next feature, in which we will need to show a user details about a particular library whenever they tap on it. So let's start that process in the next section.